Okay, thanks for following me to YouTube. I hope you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm just saying what they said. So I can get 100 and something thousand views. This uh, post is following up on my Facebook post. My Facebook post was good news and bad news. And I always want to give honor and glory to God. So the good news is be of good cheer, for he has overcome the world. The bad news is what I'm going to post on YouTube. The bad news is so many of us are in the world. So many of us identify what the world. We just get to a point where we be like, "Well, God will understand." I don't think God will understand. If God was going to understand, He probably would have understood in the beginning with Adam and Eve. So I haven't really seen us get better since Adam and Eve, where He's going to all of a sudden say, "Oh, okay, I'll understand," or "I understand." So here's the problem with being in the world. We kind of connect. We're not really loners. Everything about us, has holes or digits, um, avenues that connect. So, um, if we had ears that didn't have any holes in it, or if we had hands that were, like this, you know, we couldn't really connect. I mean, what we breathe and we connect with the atmosphere. We have eyes, so we, connect with the, whatever the eyes connect to, and we have emotions that help us connect to our sights and sounds and stuff. So you get the idea. So the problem is if you're in the world, you're connected to it in a lot of ways. You can disconnect in one way, but you're still connected in three other ways. So you have to come out of the world. He said, "Be ye in the world, but be not of it." Now he wants you to do that, so when he comes back and continues continues or picks up where we left off, or however you want to look at it, whenever he comes back, if you're connected to the world, it's going to be hard for you to let go, because if you're thinking you're disconnecting from the world before he came, and I'm trying to show you you're still connected to the world other ways than one, then uh, you're going to get caught up in the part that gets corrected. So he's going to come back to correct the world. So here's an example of correcting the world. Uh, Say you're in the world, you got $1 million in the bank, you got cars, houses, lands that you bought, not the ones that he gave you. But that's just me. So, uh, say you have earned all these things. So there was a rich man who was thinking about all the stuff he had, and he was like, "Oh, geez, I need to make more room for my stuff." What is that saying? The one who has the most toys at their death wins. The people in the world kind of think like that, and I'm I'm not even going to try to explain that, but um, so this is why you don't want to be in the world, because he has overcome the world. Now, to give you an example of what it's like when he overcomes the world, when there was a stock market crash, the people who were in the world, they jumped out of windows. I don't know if that's false news or not, but I could understand that if you're well off and everything that you have is taken away from you all of a sudden, and you can't see him, you're not going to automatically look to him because you've always looked at the you always look like the rich man in the story that I started. When he looked at his wealth, he said, "Well, I have to build another barn," and he was visited by his. I believe it was his guardian angel. I believe you have one. I believe I have one. I believe my grandkids have one, each of them. Um, Came to the rich man and said, "The Lord has required your soul this very evening. Go get your house in order, because you fixing to learn why you shouldn't be of the world." So, um, that they proved that during my lifetime with the stock market crash when reportedly I was a child. I thought like a child. I get that, but so, supposedly when the stock market crashed, all these people were jumping out of windows. I don't know if it was false news or not, but it was enough for me to know. My perception of it was so great that I was like, yeah, I might not want to be a rich man all like that, because I've always believed the scriptures when it said he will give you houses that you didn't build, and he will give you lands that you didn't work. So I'm not, like what waiting for him to, tell me, okay, at the end of the month you get it or anything like that. I'm not placing any time limits on him, but I know that that's what he's going to do, because that's what he said. That's part of the good news. That's part of the gospel. The gospel is way more than God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that who shall ever believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. So the gospel is way more than that. Especially if it has a statement in there later, is "Be of good cheer, I have overcome the world." So he's trying to show us his kingdom. Thine will be done, thine kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven on earth. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So the bad news is if you can't survive because the things you have been taken away from you, then you're probably in the world. But if you can survive, what was that one disciple who said, "I have had much, and I have had little, and I've been content in both." So, at least try to reach that kind of relationship with God, the Creator. And if God, the Creator, says that He has a Son, then you might want to get along with His Son. Because the current president is vehemently protecting his son and the trials that he has to face. So if you can see that being done in 2017, then it's not that much of a stretch for you to see that it was done 2,000 years ago with another Father and another Son, the only Father and the only begotten Son. So here's how you reconcile that. Take all you have, sell it, come and follow Him. So Don't be perplexed and walk away because you have much riches. See, because what you didn't hear was him saying that you'll get it all back. He said that later. He didn't say that to that particular man, but if that man had to continue to listen to him, he would have heard him say, if you forsake your father and mother and your lands or whatever, then he'll give that back to you. You know, which was weird because the rich man was given credit for knowing the commandments. So he probably should have known something about the Bible, and he probably should have known something about Job, but I digress. I can't read his mind. So, um, again, the good news is the gospel. The bad news is the gospel is different than the world. So if you're going to follow the gospel, and you may not do so swell following the world. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.